Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sunnydale Review. I'm Brian.
I'm Jillian.
Jillian, how are you doing?
I am great. I am so excited to talk about these last two episodes of season 3.
Yes.
I love these episodes.
Mm.
They are some of I would argue like this is like my favorite season
Oh
finale of
yeah.
any season of the show.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to touch on too. For us, it's always so weird because we record these back to back, and I'm just like, half an hour later, being like, "How are you doing?" Are you? But I feel like if I didn't, people would be like, "Ah, Brian's a jerk. He never asks Jill how she's doing." So I got to keep it in.
Brian, let me ask you, how are you doing?
Oh God, not good now. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it.
All right. So you want to jump in?
Oh yes, let's do it.
All right. So, Graduation Day Part 1 originally aired May 18th, 1999, written and directed by Joss Whedon.
Of course.
So let's see. Graduation Day is quickly approaching, and we see all the high schoolers prepping for their graduation ceremony, picking up their caps and gowns, signing yearbooks, etc. Xander talks to Cordelia and tells her that he's been lucky too many times and he's convinced he's going to die this time.
Fair.
Let's see. Buffy's not really into the whole graduation thing. She's not feeling the nostalgia factor. She considers not even going to the graduation ceremony, instead focusing on fighting the mayor. Xander walks up and informs Buffy and Willow that the mayor is going to be the commencement speaker at their graduation.
Of course.
So, looks like the choice is out of Buffy's hands, because if she's looking for the mayor, that's where he's at.
Yeah.
So let's see. On an errand for the mayor, Faith visits a volcanologist. Point of clarification here. A volcanologist is someone who studies volcanoes, not someone who studies Vulcans.
Oh, all right. Good to know.
That's a joke for later in the series,
Yeah.
but I just want to point it
Right.
out now. Let's see. So she kills the volcanologist. In class, Anya starts trying to flirt with Xander, and he comes off a little harsh. He apologizes, saying that he's just stressed about the mayor and his ascension. Anya starts to freak out. In the library, news of the volcanologist's murder has reached the Scoobies. Xander drags Anya into the library, says, "You guys want to know about the ascension? Well, meet the only living person who has ever been to one." Anya explains that about 800 years ago, she saw a sorcerer achieve ascension. He became a pure demon and decimated an entire village within a few hours. There's a great exchange between Anya and Buffy where Anya says, "You've never seen a demon." And Buffy raises her hand and goes, "Excuse me, killing them professionally 4 years running?"
Yeah.
And Anya explains that all demons that walk the earth are tainted. They're human hybrids like vampires. The ascension means that the human becomes pure demon. They're different. Buffy asks how, and she said, "Well, for one, they're bigger." So the mayor, visiting the school for a walk through the graduation ceremony, visits the library to threaten and intimidate the Scoobies. Buffy enters a verbal sparring match with him, and the mayor responds, "I'm going to eat her." Giles reacts and attempts to kill the mayor with the fencing sword, stabbing him through his chest. The mayor pulls the sword out of his chest and heals immediately, because he's invulnerable.
Yeah.
He leaves gloating. Let's see. Anya talks to Xander again, says that the only thing any sane person can do now is run, so she's going to leave town. Joyce comes home to discover Buffy packing. She thinks Buffy is trying to run away again until she notices that the belongings being packed aren't Buffy's, they're hers. Buffy tells Joyce she needs to leave town tonight. Joyce is confused because that would mean missing Buffy's graduation ceremony, which she doesn't want to do. Buffy says, "Yeah, that's actually exactly the point. I don't want you going to graduation." Buffy tells her that the graduation ceremony is pretty pointless anyway, and Joyce makes a joke about, what, is there some terrible monster that's going to attack the school? Buffy's look at her mother confirms that's exactly what's going to happen. Joyce says she's not leaving without Buffy, and Buffy explains that Joyce knows that she can't do that, Buffy says she has like a heart to heart with her mom,
Mm.
and she says that she can't fight the big bad thing that's coming if she also has to worry about keeping her mom safe. And she literally says to her mom, or I think if I'm remembering this right, she says to her mom, like, if you don't leave, you will end up being the reason that I die.
Mm.
Because I can't protect you and try to fight this thing.
Right.
So Joyce agrees to trust Buffy and leave town. So yeah, what do you think about Joyce's decision to actually like trust Buffy and leave on this one?
Shows a lot of growth, obviously, on Joyce's part, but it's earned growth because we've seen, her become more aware of everything and really more accepting of it. Other than that one episode with the gingerbread, but other than that,
yeah,
she gets it. She understands. It's hard, but she gets it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that they've come a long way between like the finale of last season where Joyce found out that Buffy was the Slayer and literally gave her an ultimatum where if you walk out this door, you can't come back.
Mm.
And Joyce now, even though she really hasn't been around all this much this season, but Joyce finally trusting Buffy in that, if Buffy says this is bad, this is going to be really bad.
Right.
So yeah. Let's see. At Willow's house, she and Oz are looking for a spell that can stop the Ascension, but they aren't having any luck. Willow voices frustration that Oz is being optimistic, detachment guy, and that she's freaking out and stressed. Oz asks if she'd be more comfortable if he panicked as well, and she said that she would because panic is something that people can share in times of crisis. Willow starts to spiral about how she's scared and that there's a lot of things that she was excited about doing after graduation, but she knows that they're probably all just going to die. And to stop her from freaking out, Oz crosses the room and kisses her. She asks him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Panicking." They start making out and collapse onto the bed together.
Nice.
So let's see. At the volcanologist's apartment, Buffy is collecting anything she can find that might help them figure out why the mayor wanted him dead. Angel makes a not-so-stealthy entrance and says Giles sent him to back up Buffy in case Faith showed up. Angel takes the box of items Buffy collected, and they leave the apartment. On their way out, Buffy tells Angel that he's crowding her, and she's a big girl and doesn't need him there following her around, especially since he showed up at the prom and then disappeared again, and she doesn't know if she didn't know if he had already left town. Apparently, he just went like totally MIA. Angel asks her if she's annoyed with him for being around too much or not being around enough. She responds, "Duh, yes."
Of course.
He's like, "I don't get it." Buffy says that this will be her last office romance. Buffy and Angel continue to argue in the street, and all of a sudden an arrow goes through Angel's chest. He collapses immediately. We see that it was Faith who shot him. The vampire with her says that she missed the heart, and she says that she meant to. So clearly something not good going on there.
Yeah.
My next note is Buffy somehow gets Angel back to the library. Because he's like collapsed, and she somehow just gets him there. Where Giles helps to remove the arrow from Angel's chest. Wesley is reading through the report Buffy took from the volcanologist's apartment, which states that he was digging into an excavation of a dormant volcano where he came across a carcass that had been buried in an eruption. They theorize that the mayor might have killed the volcanologist because the carcass might be some kind of demon that he was planning on turning into, and the fact that it is dead means it can be killed, so he's only impervious until after the Ascension.
Right.
So a good little piece of information there. Buffy helps Angel stand up, but he immediately passes out. They determine that the arrow that he was shot with was poisoned. Giles says that he has to move Angel to the mansion, but to call the rest of the Scoobies and try to research what the poison might be. Wesley says that he'll call the council as they have all the known toxins on file and will be able to help as well.
Right.
So maybe they'll be useful for something.
For once.
It would be about time. I mean, we're currently at like Council 0, Scoobies 9,000.
Right.
So, Back at Willow's house, we see that she and Oz have finally slept together. As they lay in each other's arms, Willow can't stop talking again, but Oz just listens to her. It's very sweet. I love that kind of moment between them. They get a call from Giles, and Willow says they have to go. Faith reports into the mayor, tells him about how she shot Angel. The mayor says that she should keep Buffy distracted, or that should keep Buffy distracted for a little while, so he can finish all the prep work for his ascension. He then sits down with the box of Gavrok from the last episode and explains that he needs to ingest some of the spider demons that are inside the box. Faith asks if the mayor will still need her at graduation. Clearly, she is worried once the mayor ascends, he won't need her anymore to kill people for him. He says that he'll always need her. I have a note in here that says, it's weird how they're both evil people with bad intentions, but they have this almost sweet father-daughter relationship in their own way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, this is the episode where Faith mentions that she grew up in Boston.
Yeah. Woo!
Which, if it wasn't kind of obvious from her accent.
Yeah, right.
But I do think it's funny that Eliza Dushku, the actress, has kind of made her home in Boston.
Yes.
So, coming back to her roots. Let's see. Willow, Xander, and Oz are at the school trying to figure out what poison was on the arrow. Willow makes a list of stuff for Xander to go pick up at the magic shop and mentions to just tell the cashier that it's for her. I guess she has a tab or a card on file there or something.
Right.
While leaving the school, Xander runs into Anya. She tells him she is leaving town and her car is packed outside. She offers to let Xander come with her. She says that Xander's going to die if he stays in Sunnydale, and that she thinks something, when she thinks that something might happen to him, it makes her feel bad. That's like, she doesn't really know how to human.
No.
Because she was a demon for so many years and didn't really need to care about anything remotely human, essentially. But she can't vocalize her feelings for Xander other than, when I think that something bad might happen to you, it makes me feel bad. Xander apologizes for making her feel bad, but tells her that he can't leave. In anger, she tells Xander that she hopes he dies, then asks if they're going to kiss. I have a note in here. Okay, how does Anya pay for anything? She was a vengeance demon for, like, over 1,100 years. How is she living and paying for food, a place to live, and a car?
That's a great question.
What kind of skills does she have that would allow her to get a job? We already know her people skills aren't great.
That's true too. Oh man.
I don't know. So let's see. Back at the mansion, Angel is not in good shape. Giles and Buffy are there with him, and Wesley shows up to tell them that he called the council and they are refusing to help Angel since it's not their policy to cure vampires. Wesley says that he tried to convince them since these are special circumstances, but they won't help.
Yeah.
Wesley says that the council's orders are to concentrate on the ascension. Buffy realizes that the council is trying to order her around, but they won't help her when she asks for it. She decides she's not going to be taking any more orders from Wesley or from the council. Wesley tells her that she can't turn her back on the council. She replies, "They're in England. They don't know which way my back is turned." Wesley tries to ask Giles to back him up, but Giles has already been fired by the council, back and helpless, so he has no loyalty toward them, and so he decides to back up Buffy. Buffy tells Wesley to send a message to the council saying that until the next Slayer comes along, they can close up shop because she's not going to be working for them anymore. Giles says this is mutiny. Buffy responds with, "I like to think of it as graduation day."
Love it.
Oh my god. It's like she punched Wesley in the face without punching Wesley in the face. Right. But also it's just like, literally, what has the council done for Buffy ever?
Nothing.
They don't help her when she needs it. They are the reason that she went through everything she did in Helpless and hurt the relationship between her and Giles. Like, the Watchers Council is stupid.
Yeah, you won't hear an argument from me.
They also don't pay their Slayers.
Right.
I just see them as tools that they can order around, and it just bugs me. Okay, so let's see. Buffy heads back to school to help the rest of the Scoobies. Willow explains that they figured out the poison is called Killer of the Dead. Oz finds the cure. The only cure is to drain the blood of a Slayer. Buffy responds with good and says she's going to go after Faith and make Angel drain her blood. Willow points out that if Angel drains Faith's blood, it will kill her. Buffy responds with, not if she's already dead. So
Right. That's that.
this goes back to the end of Enemies, where where Faith said to Buffy, "You're not like me. You're not a killer. At least not yet."
About to cross the bridge.
Yeah. Let's see. The Scoobies head back to the library. Willow and Oz work on tracking down Faith's apartment, while Xander helps Buffy stock up on weapons. Xander is worried about killing Faith might do to Buffy, but she's determined and has basically tunnel vision at this point. At Faith's apartment, we see Buffy sneak in on Faith. Buffy still has some witty banter left in her, so instead of jumping on Faith and going for the easy kill, she decides to alert Faith to her presence by turning off her stereo. They discuss the poison and its cure. Buffy tells Faith that the cure is the blood of a Slayer. Faith tells Buffy, "You know you're not going to take me alive," and Buffy responds, "Not a problem." They start to fight. At this point, they are both fueled by hate and anger, and seem pretty evenly matched. They end up going through a window onto a landing below. Faith tries to make a run for it, but Buffy handcuffs the two of them together, telling her to stick around. So yeah. This is actually if you have seen any reviews of the widescreen HD remasters of Buffy, this is a scene where literally Fox did such a horrible job at remastering the series. They either went in and zoomed in on scenes to make them fill the screen for widescreen, or they went back to the original film and spliced in original film footage. And for the widescreen of the fight between Buffy and Faith on the landing, you can literally see crew members.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's awful. They did an awful job. They need to redo it. And that's why, whenever I can, I actually watch my my DVDs. I don't watch. I believe Hulu has the widescreen remasters, and it just makes me angry.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. So let's see. Back at the library, Xander and Giles are still trying to figure out what demon the mayor's going to turn into. Giles thinks he has the demon's name figured out based on a legend that the people near the volcano used to tell. He says that he might have a picture of the demon and pulls out a book off the shelf and opens to a page. And then we see Giles and Xander having to fold out the page multiple times to see the full picture. Xander responds with, "We're going to need a bigger boat." So clearly a very, 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 very large demon.
Yes.
Back at Faith's apartment, she and Buffy continue to fight. Buffy manages to break their handcuffs apart. Faith manages to break their handcuffs apart and grabs a metal pole to fight Buffy with. Buffy pulls out the knife that used to belong to Faith. The one that Faith had thrown at the wall and stabbed the spider with, and then left behind at the school.
Yep.
Faith recognizes the knife and says, "That's mine." Buffy responds with, "You're about to get it back."
Good line.
Faith almost punches Buffy off the balcony, but Buffy stabs her at the last minute. Faith says, "You did it. You killed me. Still won't help your boy, though," and then jumps off the balcony into a passing dump truck. And we're left with to be continued.
Yeah. This is a great episode. That fight, even with the widescreen problems, is pretty dope. Buffy finally crossing that line, pretty impactful. And yeah, a big cliffhanger.
I will say something funny that I always noticed even before the widescreen remasters came out is that if you look, you don't have to look that carefully, but on the landing you can see that the floor is made out of dark crash pads. That they use for the stunt work, obviously, so that they're not body slamming each other into an actual hard surface. But that's something that I always picked up on. But as far as a watch or pass on this one, absolutely watch, no question. I gave it 10 stakes. I love this episode. I love this finale. So
I gave this one a 9. This part of the episode a 9.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So jumping right
Yeah, let's
into
keep this going.
Graduation Day, Part 2, Season 3, Episode
Hmm.
22. The originally aired dates on this one are a little weird because, as we mentioned in a previous video, um, due to, I mean, this was only a couple weeks after the Columbine school shooting. There were major concerns about airing anything that had to do with school violence on at least American television. So the there is the Canada air date of May 24th, 1999. That was the originally intended air date. However, in the US, this didn't air until July 13th, 1999. Part 1 was not delayed, part 2 was delayed.
Yeah, that's
so just
brutal.
thinking of like the cliffhanger from last episode airing in May, and then there being such a delay between getting to see part 2 of this finale. Like, that must have been so frustrating.
How do you even find out?
For fans?
The internet wasn't like a thing. Just like,
right.
What is that? What's happening? When's Buffy coming back? Like, what the hell?
People just reading TV guides while sitting in their bathrooms.
Exactly.
Like,
that had to be it.
Oh, hey, there was a second part.
Oh, man.
So let's see. So, yeah, so depending on where you were in the world, original air date was either May 24th or July 13th, 1999. Again, part 2, written and directed by Joss Whedon, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
This episode picks up right where the last episode ended. We see Buffy leaving Faith's apartment from the fire escape as the mayor arrives at Faith's apartment using the front door. He finds it empty. He tells his vampire lackey to find Faith and put everyone on it. The lackey responds, "But sir, the Ascension," and the mayor breaks character and turns on him like very angrily and yells, "Find them." Once the lackey leaves, we see the mayor start to panic, repeatedly saying, "Faith is a good girl, she'll be all right." So it's like we've never seen this side of the mayor before, where he gets angry. He's usually a very like cool, calm, and collected, has a very weird sense of humor, but like he's usually a pretty steady character. So seeing him lash out like this is like, oh, he really cared about her.
Yeah.
So let's see. Back at the library, we see Giles and Xander are still deep in research mode. They are poring over old journals and books, trying to find any reference to the demon the mayor is turning into, but they haven't had any luck yet. Back at the mansion, Willow is watching over Angel. Angel wakes up and is delirious from his fever, thinking Willow is Buffy. Apparently, earlier he thought Oz was Buffy too. Away from Angel, Willow tells Oz that she feels guilty because there are all these terrible things happening, but in a way, it's the best night of her life because her and Oz finally slept together.
Right.
Which, like, I like that didn't just happen and then they never talked about it again. Like, it still has emotional weight.
Yeah.
Let's see. Buffy arrives at the mansion. She tells Oz and Willow that she found Faith, but she wasn't able to bring her back to the mansion. Buffy asks Willow and Oz to leave because she'd like to be alone with Angel, and they agree. Willow tells her that they'll try to find another cure. Buffy heads in to see Angel. We see that he says he didn't want to go without seeing her. She tells him that he's going to live. She offers to let him drink from her. Angel doesn't like that plan because he's afraid he'll kill Buffy. She says that she might not die if he doesn't take it all, meaning if he doesn't completely drain her. Let's see. She tells him that she won't let him die and actually punches him in the face repeatedly until his vamp face comes out. Then she presses his head against her neck, and Angel, his instincts take over and he drinks from her. Angel is clearly overcome with the taste of her blood. Think about it. I mean, this is, besides the time he wasn't jealous, this is the first time he's had human blood in a very, very, very long time. And also it's Slayer blood, which we know has more of like a euphoric taste to a vampire. Let's see. He drinks so quickly that Buffy is unable to push him off of her. He finally snaps out of literally he is so into drinking her blood that they like fall through a table. And Buffy just like has no strength left to push him off her.
Yeah.
Eventually, Angel rolls off of her and finds Buffy
Mm.
unconscious. So not great.
No, not at all.
um, Angel, realizing what he's done, rushes Buffy to the hospital and just keeps yelling at the nurse that she needs blood. Once she's being attended to, Angel calls the gang at the library. We also see the mayor at the hospital. A doctor is telling him that the bones are set and that the damage to the kidneys is reversible or is repairable, but the head trauma is severe and they don't think she'll wake up.
Mm.
Then we see Faith lying bruised and unconscious in a hospital bed. The mayor overhears a nurse come in and talk to the doctor about a girl with severe blood loss who needs his help. The mayor walks through a connecting door between Faith and Buffy's hospital rooms and literally tries to suffocate Buffy. The nurse realizes what is happening and tries to pull the mayor away from Buffy, who is, but she's like unable to because I guess the mayor's like really strong.
Right.
She calls for security, and Angel rushes in and pulls the mayor away from Buffy. The mayor makes a bunch of threats towards Angel and Buffy, and Angel throws him across the room into a window. The mayor laughs, tells the hospital staff that everything is fine, and finally leaves.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to take a drink.
That's all right.
Guys, I'm not suffering from coronavirus. It's just too much talking, and my throat gets dry. Okay. So I do have a few questions about this scene. One, Buffy was brought in for bleeding from the neck. They have her in a bed with just a blanket over her and then leave her alone until the doctor is ready.
Yeah.
Shouldn't someone be attending to the open wounds on her neck or monitoring her?
You would think.
Two, the mayor is able to just walk in and start suffocating her. The nurse tries to pull him off but can't, and Angel pulls him off and the mayor starts making a bunch of threats. How did he not get arrested?
It's a great question.
Is security just really slow? Like, they literally never show up before he decides to leave on his own.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I realize that the answer is because plot, but I mean, I still have an issue with it. Let's see. The rest of the Scoobies finally show up at the hospital, and Angel fills them in on what happened and Buffy and Faith's current conditions. Xander makes a statement about it being good to know that when the chips are down, Angel will feed off the girl he loves to save his own life, and Angel doesn't argue with him or tell him that Buffy pretty much forced him to do it. He clearly feels guilty. Giles tells Angel to head home as the sun will be up soon and the Scoobies take over watching Buffy. Angel probably should have given them a heads up that the mayor tried to kill Buffy. I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
It's like, hey, Faith's over there. The mayor keeps coming in to visit her. He may have just kind of tried to kill Buffy about 10 minutes ago. Right. So, just kind of keep an eye on that. Yeah. Let's see. So while still unconscious, Buffy has a dream that she and Faith are packing up Faith's apartment. Buffy says that there's something she's supposed to be doing, and Faith makes a comment about miles to go, Little Miss Muffet counting down from 730. Which I wanna touch on that, not in this episode. Yeah. Faith tells Buffy that the human weakness never goes away, even his. They talk about the boxes of stuff in the apartment, and Buffy asks how Faith is going to take all of it. She says that she isn't. It belongs to Buffy now. She responds with, I can't take all of this, and Faith responds, take only what you need. Then she asks Buffy if she's ready and touches Buffy's face, which wakes Buffy up.
Right.
So it's kind of... You have to really know what's going on there. This is like a thing that you might pick up on in like later... watchings of this, but Faith is kind of giving Buffy some hints about the mayor, about his personality, and ways to take him down.
Right.
So let's see. Once awake, Buffy gets out of her hospital bed and heads over to Faith's room. She finds Faith in a coma and kisses her on the forehead. Buffy gets dressed and meets her friends out in the hallway of the hospital. Buffy tells them to get Angel and get everyone, and says she's ready for war. So...
Let's do this.
Yeah. It's finally graduation day. Buffy has the Scoobies in the library, and we enter a scene where we enter the scene just as she's finishing explaining her plan to them. They think she's crazy. Cordelia says that she doesn't think it's possible to come up with a crazier plan. To which Oz responds with, "We attack the mayor with hummus." I love Oz, always keeping things in perspective. Let's see. They decide the plan might be crazy, but it's the only one they have. Buffy says that she needs everyone to agree, especially Xander. She asks if he still remembers his soldier training from back in Halloween in season 2, and he responds that he does. Giles points out that a large part of the plan hinges on Buffy being able to control the mayor. She tells him that Faith has told her how to play on his human weakness, which is kind of that shared dream thing that they had. And Giles is like, "So was this before or after you put her in a coma?" And Buffy says, "After." Giles asks if she knows what Faith meant by playing on his human weakness, and Buffy admits that she doesn't know, and that they're really relying on her for a lot when she's been through a lot in the last couple of days. She's like, "You're asking me to connect all of the dots here. I'm not at my best right now. I just got out of the hospital. Like, you guys are putting a lot on me right now." Let's see. They start trying to figure out what his human weakness is. Angel says that he wasn't crazy about germs, and Cordelia suggests they attack the mayor with germs by getting a box and labeling it with Ebola and trying to scare him off. She's like, "We don't need to actually get Ebola. Just get a box and write Ebola on it, and then he'll just run away." I'm like,
oh, man.
Cordelia, I appreciate you trying. Let's see. Angel finally realizes that Faith is the mayor's weak link, and Buffy says that she can work with that. Let's see. Wesley enters the library, and the gang is visibly cold towards him. He tells them that he's not there on behalf of the council, and he's just there to help. We see a pretty awesome montage of the mayor's side and Buffy's side preparing. They realize an eclipse will be part of the ascension, which puts Angel back into play during the fight. We see the Scoobies also starting to recruit people they know from outside of the gang to help. So they have like Jonathan helping and Larry's helping.
Larry, the redemption arc.
Yes. I really want to make a comment, but we're not there in the episode yet. I mean, it's not. He has a very short-lived redemption.
That's what completes it. He sacrifices himself for the cause.
Let's see. While packing up books in the library, Wesley and Cordelia are talking about what will happen if they survive. Wesley says he'll be heading back to England since Buffy no longer works for the council. There's no place for him in Sunnydale, no reason to stay, no cause for hope that he might be needed or wanted. Wesley and Cordelia start to make out, and just so incredibly, awkwardly, painfully, just bad. Yeah. It's just bad. I don't think Wesley has ever kissed a girl in his entire life. And yeah. So they like stop, and then they try it again. It has the same result. Cordelia tells him good luck in England, and they pretend that nothing happened. So just wrapping up that storyline right there. Buffy returns to the library with Faith's knife. Angel tells her that if they make it through the ascension and kill the mayor, he's just gonna leave. Buffy is clearly upset, but ultimately she understands. He's like, "I'm not gonna say goodbye. I'm just gonna go."
Yeah, too hard to say goodbye.
Yeah. Let's see. The graduation ceremony begins. Snyder commends them all for being more or less adequate, and then tells them to sit down and be quiet. Mayor Wilkins walks up to the podium to start the speech, and Buffy and Willow realize that he has planned this out so he can give his entire speech before the ascension.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the eclipse happens earlier than the mayor had planned, and he transforms into a giant snake.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this? The giant snake being the big bad.
I mean...
really the first like book of Buffy, if you will. Like it's all led
Yeah.
up to this.
I mean, I think that it fits his personality. He's been kind of a snake as far as like manipulating
Mm,
people. Um, and yeah, I think it's fitting. I think that this was very much like a go big or go
yeah.
home moment, at least like for the producers. I think at this point, so in the early seasons, I read somewhere that like Joss Whedon always made sure to wrap up his
Mm,
seasons as if it might be the season or the series finale
right.
because he never knew if they were going to get renewed
Mm,
again. Um, so that's, I mean, season two left with a pretty big
mm.
cliffhanger, but the series could have ended
Could
there.
have, definitely.
But season three was definitely like a well, if we don't get renewed again, we've been lucky this many times. If we don't get renewed again, at least this feels like a nice bookend.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. I'm glad that it continued,
yeah, right.
absolutely. But yeah, what's your feeling on it?
It's obviously interesting. I wish it's like a giant CGI snake, and obviously any CGI from that time kind of looks not the best anymore. So that's like the one thing. It's like, man, I wish they could like, I don't know if it's like George Lucas and redo it, but I wish it just looked a little better. But you know what? That's also kind of the charm of Buffy. It has a little bit of that cheese and low
Yeah,
budgetness, you know.
maybe they could revisit it if they ever do the widescreen remasters
Yeah,
correctly.
maybe.
So let's see. Um, God, where was I? I'm like trying to find where I was in my notes now. Um, oh, okay. So he transforms into a giant snake. The graduates all stand as we see that they are flanked by on all sides by the mayor's vampire lackeys. Buffy yells now, and it's revealed that the entire graduating class was armed under their graduation gowns.
Pretty great.
Yeah. They have a flame unit and a first wave armed with harpoons and crossbows, and a group of bowmen tasked with shooting the vampires with flaming arrows to try to clear a path for people to get away. The mayor's vampire lackeys try to retreat but find that they are flanked by another group of Buffies headed by Angel and Wesley. The mayor starts killing students, and we see, um, let's see.
Larry.
Yeah, for some reason in my notes I have Gary, but
No,
no,
it's
it's
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah. He gets
Um,
whipped
we,
by
we
the tail.
Yeah. So we see Larry die. Snyder tries to yell at the mayor demon, telling him, "This is not orderly. This is not discipline. You're on my campus, buddy. And when I said I wanted quiet, I mean." And then the mayor eats
Yeah.
him. So bye bye, Snyder.
Oh, fitting end.
You will be missed by few.
Yes. You see
Um.
Harmony, right?
Yep.
Harmony's getting
Um.
bitten.
Yep, Harmony gets bitten by a vampire. Buffy orders everyone to fall back. The kids try to retreat and have to fight their way through another line of the mayor's vampire lackeys. That's when we see Harmony get bitten and Jonathan tackles a vampire. Wesley almost gets trampled. Wesley is so useless. Um, Buffy gets the mayor's attention by showing him the knife that he had given Faith as a gift. She says, "Do you want to get it back from me?" She then runs off into and through the school. The mayor in snake form chases her throughout the school, destroying the school as he goes. She leads him to the library where she escapes through the stacks. There's like an exit that way that they've used a couple times during
Mm.
the series or during the seasons up to this point. Um, the mayor realizes that they have filled the library with bags of explosives. Just as he realizes what's going on, Giles pushes the plunger and blows up the school, killing the mayor demon.
And then he's like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
Just
or no, he goes, "Good gosh."
yeah. It's just so funny.
Yeah,
Like, him
and there
talking
there
as
was
the
a
demon
scene.
is so. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, there was a scene earlier where Buffy was asking Giles if he wanted to be the one to blow up the
Mm.
library. And he's like, it is kind of fitting that I be the one to do
Yeah.
it. So let's see. Um, Buffy and Xander walk through the parking lot, now filled with ambulances and fire trucks. She is looking around for Angel, and Xander tells her that Angel made it through the fight and probably took off right
Mm.
after. There's an awesome little scene where Giles is talking with Buffy about the insane few days they've had. Buffy tells him that she's tired and her brain hasn't processed through everything yet. Giles gives Buffy her diploma, which he managed to pull from the wreckage of the school. And there's this great little exchange that I love to use. There's a gif of this that I love to use whenever I'm just feeling that like I am so tired, my brain cannot process information. Um, so Giles says, "There's a certain dramatic irony attached to all this, synchronicity that borders on predestination, one might say." And Buffy looks at him and goes, "Fire bad, tree pretty." It's like, you're using a lot of big words here, and I can't process that right now. So let's see. Buffy looks across the parking lot and sees Angel standing there staring at her. They say a silent goodbye. Then Angel turns and walks away, fading through the smoke until he's gone. The gang regroups on a bench across the street from across the street from the school. Oz suggests they take a moment to appreciate that they survived, not the battle, but high school.
Yeah.
They take literally a 1 to 2 second moment and then get up and leave.
I use a great shot, like a great hero shot of them, all lined up, and then just being like, okay, that's that.
Yep.
And even if this had been the end, it would have been a good ending.
Yeah. It's like we survived not only high school, but also a lot of shit that happened over the last 3 years.
Especially where like the central thesis of the show is like the demons in high school are, a representation of the real life demons you go through in high school.
Right.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It's just so good. I love this show.
Yeah. I do have kind of a couple of like plot questions. So when the mayor initially transforms, we see all the parents take off to like these covered areas around the quad. Yeah. Did they run into the school? Did they all get blown up?
Ooh, I hope not.
Also, when we see Angel and Wesley's group, they seem to have some students with them. I think like Percy's there. And there's like just a bunch of kids. Did they just not attend the graduation ceremony, so they weren't in their seats? Or like, how did they get there? I
guess not.
But anyway, as far as like a rating goes, I give this one 10 out of 10. Yeah. I love it. This is my favorite season finale. It's just amazing. Yep. So I gave it a 10. Absolutely watch, no question.
Yeah, I gave it a 10 as well. It's great. Just a really great episode. And a great show.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add before we get on out of here?
No, that is the end of season 3. So
we did it.
On to season 4.
We survived.
Yay.
Not only that, but no. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Joe, where can they find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at Jillian_Swan, and that's Swan with 2 N's. Or you can find me occasionally over on Twitch on the Grass Block UK channel. I'm usually either occasionally playing or in the comments. So come over. It's a fun time.
All right, go check them out. Let them know where you're coming from. Of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at the fake. I'm at the fake BMAR. That's BMARR. The channel is at WG Everything on Instagram. At Wicked Everything on Twitch. At twitch.tv/Wicked Everything and TikTok. Search Wicked Everything. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. The Sunnydale Review is a Wicked Good Everything production. The fan art of Buffy was created by Fishbone Art. The logo was created by Tamar Kutab. The original intro and outro song was created by Alex Carl.